I did talk to the president, and he was engaged from the beginning, which is really helpful, and had a great response. You know, the federal and the state and the local response was wonderful.
Give you any messages to impart to the public, or
he wanted to know what happened,
right?
And so
was he angry?
No, I think he was. Maybe some people don't see him as being very sensitive. I felt like he was struck by the number of people who had died. And I'll just be frank with you, one of the hard parts with that night was what I knew and what I could say.
Yeah.
And that was incredibly hard. And I talked to some of the family. This is why this mission is so important. I talked to some of the families the next day. And you do not want to talk to families who went to the airport to pick up a loved one and might have been texting with them on the airplane as they're about to land. They never show up. If I'm going to do all I can to make sure that never happens again, to a next set of families, to the next secretary, and doing our job truly impacts people's lives. And the American Airlines families have rallied together in a really unique way, and they're committed to the mission of safety. Right. But it's that part of it is you don't want to do that. No. You don't want to have to go through that, and if you can prevent it, you want to. And I think there was an emotional side to the president in regard to the families who had lost their lives. And then he wanted to know what happened. What caused this crash, and how do we fix it? Because he's interested. He doesn't wallow. He in all kinds of spaces, he's like solution driven. So it was both sides of him, the sensitive side, but then also we got to fix this. What was it?
And the curiosity side.
Yeah, and we didn't have all the information at that point. No. I had some of it, but not all of it. Yeah. And so again, as we've gone forward, he's wanted to know
because
more
it was
about
such a freak accident, and I think he went straight to DEI. Woman pilot, whatever. I mean, was that fair?
If we're making decisions on who gets into cockpits and we put our lives in their hands, even the liberals who love DEI, they don't want their pilot to be DEI. They don't want their controller to be DEI. They want the best controller. They want the best pilots.
They want merit.
They want merit-based.
Yeah.
That's right. And so that's the issue. I think, again, if it's not good enough for me, why should it be good enough for any other American? And so that's what I think the real takeaway from what the president said is get the best people in these positions, because if they're not, people lose their lives.
Yeah. And your relationship with the president, I mean, you've known him for years. I mean, you've been an interviewer and anchor on Fox News, so you've interviewed him. Has your relationship changed since you've become, I guess, he's your boss now?
He's my boss. And by the way, I couldn't have a better boss, a more engaged boss. What I think is, I've had a chance to spend, so I was with him in Trump 1. I was in Congress. I was very supportive in 2016. Right. Yeah. And I would go on CNN and MSNBC. And I was one of like 4 members of Congress that were really aggressively supporting him because I loved his vision. Yeah. What I've seen when I get to work up close with him is the brilliance about how he thinks about things. And I've seen enough politicians and how they think about what I can do and what I can't do, not what I should do. He does what he should do to make America stronger and safer, and the politics be damned. He's willing to break through all kinds of things to make sure the American people are treated right and treated well. I have an issue right now that I'm dealing with Canada on and Mexico on, different than what he's dealing with Canada and Mexico on. And
on airspace or something.
When I bring things up to him, it's like, what's the right thing to do? And he says, go do it. Go do it. And I think his gut is remarkable. Some people might say, I can't believe he did. And then you wait 3 days and it's like, the president was right. His gut is really good on
and he's almost superstitious about following his instinct, isn't he?
I don't know about the superstitious, but his instinct is usually right.
Yeah.
And again, you can play clips back from him on what he said, how the media went after him, and how in the end, Donald Trump is usually right because his gut is, and I don't know why his gut is so good, but it is really good. And so my point with that is he makes decisions. He doesn't wallow and think, and he gets an impression, he gets a gut reaction, and he makes a decision. There are a few things he'll want to wait on, he'll take some time on, but a lot of times his gut is really good and usually right. So I love that leadership. You know what? It's decisive leadership.
Yeah.
Decisive decisions.
And so let's go back to your previous life in politics, and that was you were a congressman for Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And you gave all that up because you had now 8 children and your beautiful wife, Rachel Campos Duffy, who is a star Fox anchor. She was pregnant with your 9th child and she got some news.
Yeah. So she, so this will be our 9th baby. And just to be really fair, if you let your husband be a member of Congress and you have 8 kids, the workload that falls on you is substantial.
Yes.
And she was carrying most of the home life as I was out serving my constituents. And I think it was in April or May, she had gone to an ultrasound. I was in Washington. She called me after and told me that she had got a diagnosis that our baby was going to have Down syndrome. And I was like, this is great. Because everyone I know has Down syndrome, or any parents who've had Down syndrome children, they've been incredibly pleased. They're joys in their life. So that was not a hit for me.
Right.
Really, I knew it'd be different.
Yeah.
But I wasn't upset. Well, then in, I think, July.
And then Valentina also, I think you knew was going to have heart issues as well.
In July, we found out that she was going to have heart issues. And at that point, I'm like, you know what? My job is to my family. And I think this is too much. And so I decided to leave early. We had a number of issues going on, and I thought this, because when you're gone from home, and this military men and women see this, maybe truck drivers see it, you see it in Congress. If you're gone a lot, there's something misses when mom or dad is gone too much. And I had been gone for 9 years, and so I thought, you know what, this is my main job is to raise my kids. And by the way, when I'm on my deathbed, hopefully decades away, will I go, I passed that bill, or I won with 68% of the vote? Like, no, it's like I was a good dad.
Yeah.
I raised my kids. I did the best that I could. And so I resigned.
Was that a wrench?
To resign?
Yeah.
I cried like a baby.
Did you?
I did. I was heartbroken. I love my job. I love being a member of Congress. And though I made the right decision, I did a couple of speeches, Miranda, for like a week after. I think people just asked me, like I announced, and then there was a speech the next night for the local senator, who is actually now the member of Congress there. They asked me to come to the event, and I stood up and I think I spoke for 12 seconds, and I started crying. And they applauded, and I laughed. I couldn't. I know I love the job, but I made the right decision. And I'll tell you, Rachel was she wanted me to stay. She said I can do it. And in the end,
was that?
I think she loves the service. She's from Arizona, but loved Wisconsin, and
probably didn't want to see you give up something that you loved.
That I loved, yeah. And but now she would say you made the right decision. And so,
did you have any plans of what you would do?
No,
really.
So I have.
So 9 kids and no job, really.
When you're in Congress, you have 2 schedulers.
Yeah.
And one in your district and one in DC. I had like every 15 minutes to half an hour scheduled in my life.
Right.
Full. And I resigned and I had nothing on my calendar. I think I had a dentist appointment on my calendar.
That might have been quite nice.
It was
quite liberating.
No, it actually was. It stressed me out. I'm like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And so, and then our baby came a month early. So I got out like a week later, the baby came early.
Right.
And it was chaotic. And at that point, I signed with CNN. I went to CNN. I signed a 2-year contract,
right.
And only did a year of it. CNN was a little harder on me. I think Fox treats liberals way better than CNN was treating conservatives at that time.
What did they do?
Just, like they would take clips of me who work for them and they'd run them and attack me. And I'm like,
wow.
I'm in the family. Like, we don't do that. Like, you want people to debate. Like, debates are good. You want 2 sides that can have a conversation. In Fox, you might have 3-on-1. Yeah. And at CNN, you might have the vice versa, 3 liberals on 1. But it's a good debate. It makes good TV. Yeah. They would come after me even after I was off the air and run clips and attack me. And I thought that was that's mean. It's mean. It is mean. So luckily, after a year, I left. And a week later, I signed with Fox and found my ride home. And then Fox was good to me. And by the way, Fox is, and you're in the building, they support families.
Yes.
They've supported Rachel through well, not all of them, but the later babies. They've been very supportive, and so
But she's a superstar.
They walk the
she's so
walk and they
gorgeous.
talk the talk. Yeah. It's really wonderful. And so she is the rock star and superstar of our home. She makes it all happen. Even now, with this job, so we live in New Jersey now because it's closer to the Fox studio. I'm down here 5 days a week. And in those first weeks, I was down here for like weeks on end.
Yeah.
And she does Fox and Friends Weekend. She does Noticias, which is a Spanish show, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Oh, right.
And she's managing all the kids as I'm here doing the service at DOT and get the great privilege of working in the administration. And none of it happens but for an amazing wife.
Yeah. And I mean, you sacrificed your congressional career for the family. She also sacrificed, didn't she, back when you moved to Wisconsin, and she had a very promising television career ahead of her. Yeah.
So we, by the way, we both met on reality TV. So
I was going to get to that.
She did MTV's The Real World, the San Francisco season. So the young people, they probably don't know this, but us older people will. It was very popular. She did the San Francisco season with Puck and Pedro, and she was there, and I did a later season.
That was one of the first reality TV shows, wasn't it? And what was the premise? You put a whole lot of young people in a...
It was the first reality TV show in America.
Oh, right.
And so what the premise was, they would take 7 people from wildly different walks of life and make them live in a house together. And what they found out is you'll get drama, you'll get conflict, because we actually hang out with and associate with people who are very much like us.
Yes.
With the same backgrounds, maybe the same philosophy. But if you make people live together who have nothing in common, you'll get great storylines. Yes. Yeah. Which, by the way, what I found is I have way more in common with the people who I thought had so many things that I was separated from. I had way more in common with them, which was a great lesson.
That's a good lesson.
It is a really good lesson.
For a politician, especially.
We had a lot more than I would have thought.
You were in the Boston version?
I was in the Boston version.
Yeah.
So 7 people come together. They film for 6 months. It was a really popular show at the time. And then they had a secondary show, which was called Road Rules, where they put 5 people in a Winnebago and they traveled around and did missions across the country.
Right.
What they decided to do is take 1 member from each of the prior Real World seasons and have those people come together and do Road Rules. And they picked her from her season, me from my season. And so I actually met her on tape.
Wow.
Right. So she got off a train.
Do you remember the first meeting?
Yeah. Because and I have it on tape too, but she came off and she handed me her bag and she got off the train.
And what did you think?
I'm going to carry her bag from now on. Right. Listen, I was attracted to her right away.
Yeah. How old were you?
I was 25.
Right.
I tried my best effort. Listen, I had really bad hair and bad glasses, and I'm from Wisconsin. And I tried my best, and I made some progress getting her to like me. And what happened is several months after the show, she was flying through Minneapolis where I was in law school. She had done a speech in Milwaukee, had to fly through Minneapolis, and she decided she would stop over and see me and just make sure we're all good. And I picked her up at the airport and I took her out to breakfast at the Uptowner in St. Paul. And we sat there for probably 2.5 hours or 3 hours. We had breakfast and had coffee. And at the end of it, Miranda, she's like, "I'm going to marry you." To which I was like, "Whoa, Daddy."
Were you dating?
No, no.
That's
She just said
hilarious.
she's going to marry me. And I was like, "This is crazy."
Why did she say that?
I don't know. She said,
That's
what?
amazing.
She said, "I think lovers, people who, they should be able to sit and have a cup of coffee for 3 hours like it's seamless." And we had that together, and that we can sit and do this is something special. She had a tragic car crash where everyone in all the cars died. She was the only one who survived. And I think that will probably change the way you think about life and marriage and what I'm doing. So that probably has
Don't waste a moment.
Don't waste a moment. And so, so that's how that.
And what was your reaction when she said, "Are we going to get married?" Like, you're a 25-year-old man. Was that scary?
Shocking. A little bit scary. A little bit like you're cray. But then, you know what? It was.
How did you finish that breakfast?
Did you
go?
I think I'd definitely bring her back. I don't know if I had to bring her back to the airport or if she came back.
But were you like, I don't want to talk about this?
No, I was like, listen, I wanted to date her.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that I wanted to marry her. I wanted to date her at that time.
Yeah.
And so we, then we dated ever since. And we got married a year and a half after that. But to your original question, what happened was before we got married, The View was doing on-air live auditions.
Right.
The same View, Barbara Walters was on at the time. They brought her to audition live on the show. And so she was doing like once a week coming on The View.
Oh, right.
And she was one of the finalists, and Lisa Ling ended up getting the show, but she's very promising. I mean, this was a huge challenge of who was going to get that seat.
Yeah.
So she had—
It was a hot show then.
Hot show. And her star was elevating. And we, by the way, at that time, we were like, where are we going to live? And so we made a deal where I said, if you get the View, I'll move to New York, which I was not interested in moving. I was a small town Wisconsin guy. But I said, if you don't get it, you got to come to Hayward, Wisconsin, size is 2,000 people.
Right.
If you don't get it.
Yeah.
And she ended up coming to Hayward, Wisconsin. We had a couple babies. She then went back and auditioned again on The View when Lisa Ling left. And she did that, and at the end, Elizabeth Hasselbeck got the seat.
Oh, wow.
But but there was a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is she sacrificed her career for my advancement.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for that. I'm not being generous to her. I would not be here without her.
Yeah.
And she was, again, very smart. And I think we complement each other. We have different skills. And so when I was a DA, when I ran for Congress, I had just me and her. I had like one consultant that I didn't pay that would help us, but it was me and her. I ran. It was crazy town. And it could have never happened without the brilliance and intelligence that she has to help, whether it's on the media side, on the commercial sides, on the messaging side, op-ed side. Like, she was just really integral.
She's always seems to be very cheerful, very upbeat, very optimistic.
She is. And what's really interesting is, since she helped judge my career, and then after that, her career has really taken off at Fox. And so when I left Congress, it was somewhat my time to go, okay, I'm going to be supportive. I'm going to manage some of the family as you're able to pursue your dream. And if I'm going to tell you this, and she might shoot me, but when she was like, I'm going to do Fox and Friends, and I'm like, you're not going to be able to do Fox and Friends. Like, you can't do Fox. And she reminds me of that all the time now. And of course, she did it for the first time, and she was great at it. And
why did you think that she?
Because I'd never seen it.
Yeah.
Right. I'd seen her do hits. Right. I'd seen her do the hits, but I'd never seen her actually host a show.
Anchor, yeah.
Right. Never. And back in the day, I'd seen her do the View, but anyway, I hear about that a lot. But obviously, I think her blessing is that she doesn't really have a filter. That can be a blessing or a curse. She says what she thinks.
Yeah.
The president loves her too, because not because she doesn't graciously give praise or support to people she doesn't believe in, and probably out of almost everybody on TV, she has consistently been supportive of him. And even when he's not in the script or in the segment, she would bring him up, because so many things, even after the 2020 election, would revolve back to Trump. Yeah. And I think he appreciated that from her.
NASA, the president, give a busy man a job. You've now been tasked with running NASA as well.
Yeah.
What are you doing about that? And is there anything exciting on the horizon?
So I just had my first official day yesterday, which I testified in the House. At the House for 4.5 hours. So I went and visited it last week. I'm going over tomorrow. I can't tell you what, so everyone in America knows what the Apollo program was. We were going to go to the moon. Yeah. No one knows what the Artemis program is. We want to go back to the moon. We want to set up a base there, keep people on the moon. And there's actually, we have ice on the moon. It's actually very real.
Connect water and live there properly.
That's right. And then from there, what we learn will help us go to Mars. And so that's how that's structured, how we do it is really important. The funding that it's going to take to make that happen. I
guess exciting the American people about it, because no one, as you said, has heard of Artemis.
They need to know about it, right? Someone has to sell it. So
living on the moon, that's exciting.
That's right. We'll have a base camp on the moon.
Yeah.
And again, so I think that's an important part, because no one knows what we're trying to do. Yeah. We're going to need a new space station. How we're going to do that. Really? Ours is in 2030, 2031, the International Space Station is going to come down. So there's some big things, but what I'm going to do is I have to get in and start having a lot of conversations and a lot of briefings.
Because NASA's it's gone downhill since the Challenger disaster, really, hasn't it? And outsourced a lot. Elon Musk saved those astronauts or brought them back anyway because NASA couldn't.
Well, I think what's interesting is the commercial space component in America, whether it's Blue Origin or it's SpaceX or there's a lot of others. They're doing things way more cost effectively and efficiently than NASA would if it's a NASA project. And that's, again, we have to have those partners. And so I think NASA can do a lot of the funding, but how do we, if we're going to actually be successful at this mission, you can't have each mission cost $5 billion. Because you don't have to take 10, 15, I mean, you have tons of missions.
Yes.
The taxpayers are going to say no. If we can get it down like what Elon has done, and this is, we want massive competition. We want a lot of companies involved. But what he has done with SpaceX, and he's cut costs dramatically on what it takes to get satellites or people into space. We want to see that same kind of corporate engagement and that same kind of involvement at NASA. And so here's what's important. You're like, well, what do you do? You're NASA. What do you mean?
Yeah.
You need a secretary who's been Senate confirmed to make the decisions. If we wait 6-8 months for an administrator, they'll wait 6 or 8 months to make decisions, which means we're 6 to 8 months behind those who are competing with us to get to the moon. And so
China.
He said, that's right. And so that's the purpose So
it's really a national security issue.
100%.
Yeah.
Listen, this is 100% a national security issue. The space is peace, but people can use it for nefarious purposes. And I think it's important that we continue to lead. But it takes vision. You got to sell the American people on it.
Because people are bored now.
They are bored.
Yeah.
But if you look back when Elon brought the astronauts back, we had 2 days of wall-to-wall coverage of what was going to happen. And my complaint to NASA was everybody was watching what was happening. Who went out and sold Artemis?
Yes.
Who went out and sold the vision of NASA? Like I didn't hear any of that. Like, let's sell it.
Yes.
And if the American people agree, like you're going to get the money for it. If they don't agree, the program will die. But they should know what we're doing there. And so part of the mission is to sell the vision of where we're going and why are we going, right? We are explorers, right? Americans are.
Yes.
That's in our blood. It's in our heart.
The frontier.
It is. And I think who controls space is going to control Earth.
Right.
And so we have to make sure we continue to make advancements. And so for me, I'm honored that the president would have given me the privilege and the honor to take NASA for this short time and make sure we're making the right decisions to keep these programs moving.
Yeah.
And so we don't fall behind.